Kym Staton is the director of Free the Truth, Free Assange. His film, Trustful, has been all over the world in these last weeks, and it was in the UK this week. I'm very glad that Kym has dropped in on the mother of all talk shows on the eve of what may be a most auspicious occasion in the Strand at the High Court in London tomorrow morning. Kym, thanks for joining us. Tell us, first of all, if you will, what the film is and where it's been and what kind of response you're getting to it.
Thanks for having me, George. Well, the Trustful Julian Assange documentary, the main premise or goal of it was to make the first documentary that really focuses on the big why of this situation. There's been many documentaries, at least a dozen or so, that have just followed a series of time, a sequence in time, typical documentary style, and we really wanted to make a film that delves more into the meaning of what has occurred and how we can solve it. The film was released in cinemas 28th of December last year, so it's been out for about 4 months now, and we've shown it all over Australia, New Zealand and the UK. There's been over 300 cinemas involved with screening the film and getting close to 1,400 sessions.
That's pretty impressive. Now, I know the answer to the question why, but you give us, if you will, your take on that big question, why? Why has this more than a decade of persecution of Julian Assange taken place?
Well, because Assange is an innovator, someone that was the first person to challenge the mainstream narrative with this dual invention of WikiLeaks and the website that holds the information. WikiLeaks being an innovation that uses encryption to protect whistleblowers, to speed up the dissemination of truth out into the world. And then the website that goes along with it is equally as ingenious, being an electronic digital library of Alexandria that stores all of these documents, 10 million documents in that library, and protects it from being hacked. And so if the website is routinely attacked, as it is, it just pops up again. There's multiple copies of all the documents and multiple servers, and they can't bring it down. And so you have this very powerful combination of these two brilliant ideas. And why have the US gone after Julian Assange? Because of what he can do, his power, his intelligence and genius, and his ability to challenge that narrative, and also as a scapegoating, as a warning to other would-be future whistleblowers.
Hillary Clinton asked, why can't we just nuke this guy? Mike Pompeo, when head of the CIA, had elaborate plans to shoot Julian outside Harrods in London. What could possibly have gone wrong? They decided instead to pursue the lawfare route, and that comes to perhaps an end tomorrow. The US government was asked by the High Court in London to give assurances, failing which they would be minded to grant him the right of appeal. They have failed to grant these assurances. So it seems, to me at least, axiomatic that the High Court tomorrow will grant Julian further leave to appeal, with a very high chance, in the words of the current High Court panel, of success. Therefore, it seems to me they're running out of lawfare time. Do you think that they might, in Washington, with all the problems Joe Biden has already about November, be regretting this relentless pursuit of this truth teller, this whistleblower, this great journalist, great publisher? And are they maybe looking for ways to get out?
Well, yes, the High Court hearing is actually in 8 days' time, the 20th of May, and I really urge anyone that's
Oh, I
in
beg your
London or
pardon. I thought it
around.
was tomorrow. Sorry.
Uh, so it's yeah, 20th of May. Really urge everyone that can reach that location to attend the hearing outside the court and raise your voices and join that protest. In regards to the situation, well, the US was asked to provide assurances on 3 grounds around whether Julian would be possibly subject to the death sentence when he arrives in the US. The second and third were based around prejudice and the use of whether he would have access to the First Amendment protections of free speech, whether he would be prejudiced against as an Australian citizen being tried in the US. The US did provide some kind of assurances on the free speech assurance. It was basically a non-assurance. They said that he could seek to apply and rely upon the First Amendment, which it's not hard to decipher that as being a non-assurance. And then in relation to the potential death sentence, they tried to claim that wouldn't be on the table. However, let's remember, as you said, George, that this is a country that with the CIA under Mike Pompeo plotted to assassinate Julian, to poison him, or to stage some sort of shootout on the street. So they can't be trusted. And let's also remember that the 18-count bogus indictment that they want to try him for carries a potential 175-year prison sentence, which is a virtual life sentence. So that's tantamount to a death sentence anyway. I think the US has really put themselves into a corner here because maybe they thought that if they put Julian in prison for years and years, more than 5 years now at Belmarsh Prison, that everyone would forget about him. But that hasn't occurred. The campaign has grown and grown due to public support and interest. And now they're in this awkward position where we have Joe Biden. It's leading up to the US elections in November. They don't want to have an Australian journalist arrive into America in handcuffs. It's not going to look good for Biden, who claims to support freedom of the press. So it seems to me, and I'm in agreement with you there, that next week on the 20th of May, that most likely they'll allow another appeal and Assange will unfortunately be kept in solitary confinement in a 6-meter square cell for another 6 months.
That's how I see it. Their assurances aren't worth the paper that they're written on. To tell someone they can seek to take advantage of the First Amendment when they know that the hanging judge in the Virginia circuit will simply refuse the application to rely on the First Amendment is the ultimate non-assurance. I'm grateful to you, Kym, and not just for pointing out the error. Do not turn up for a protest tomorrow outside the High Court. It is the following week, and I'm very glad that you set me right on that. Lastly, Kym, how can people see the film?
Yes, thanks, George. They can go to thetrustful.org. Look that up on the net. There's a page where you can search your nearest cinema to find a place to see the film. It's in cinemas in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. We'll soon be bringing it to the US, Canada, and Europe, and all of the rest of the world. We'd love it if people would check out will check out the film. And for those that are not particularly into politics, this is not really a dry, political, boring film. It's actually a journey of understanding, and audiences are quite transfixed throughout the entire 2-hour film. And it's highly emotive. We often find people leaving the cinema in tears because this is such a sad, tragic, and awful story.
And brilliantly told by you in your film, if I may say so. Kym, a special thanks, because it's in the middle of the night where you are now. I'm very glad that you got up and looked so spruce at this time of the morning for you. Thanks for joining us. That is Kym Staton, the film director who made The Trust fall. Please watch it, check it out.